Vegan barbecues, even if you're not vegan, there is something really great about experimenting with a load of different types of ingredients on the barbecue rather than just the ubiquitous burger and sausage. Now, I'm not an expert when it comes to the barbecue lighting, but I'd say that the simple rules are use good quality lumpwood charcoal. Think about the flavours you might want to add. You can get specialist ones, applewood, beechwood, something a bit smoky that kind of adds flavour. If you've got loads of stuff growing in a garden, like rosemary's going mad at the moment, it loves this weather, you can just pop some great big chunks of rosemary off the bush onto your barbecue as well. So we just lit some firelighters and we've got a little bit of the briquettes going, and then I'm just going to pop on some lumpwood charcoal as well and maybe a few more firelighters. And the idea is to make a little pyramid, starting with the small bits, and then give it some time and allow the heat to get into the charcoal. Now, it takes about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, for them to be ready. And what you want to do, make sure that the flames have stopped and you've got a nice sort of white, ready colour on the charcoal, and then you're pretty much ready to cook. So the thing about vegetables is that you want to introduce textures and flavours. And the great thing about a barbecue is obviously you've got a whole new different texture of how the food is cooking as opposed to sautéing it or baking it. And also you've got that lovely smokiness as well. So Baba Ghanoush, we're going to char the aubergines on the barbecue to start with. And the reason for doing this is that it gives a lovely sort of smoky, charred flavour to the skin of the aubergine. I like my Baba Ghanoush nice and chunky, so I tend to just chop it by hand, but if you want to blend it till it's smooth, that's absolutely fine. We're going to start just simply by popping a little bit of olive oil over the surface of the aubergine. Just going to do that with my hands, just to help that blistering process. So, in it goes. And then all we're going to do is just pop them on and let them do their thing. Try not to forget them. I'm going to shut the lid, if you have a lid, only because that sort of helps to circulate the heat around whatever is on the barbecue, so it can be a bit quicker. But I'm also going to roast some garlic. So here I've just got a little bit of tin foil and some cloves of garlic. You can do the bulbs whole if you wish, and I'm just going to wrap them up. Simple as that. So I'm just going to pop these onto the shelf above the aubergine, just to make sure that they don't burn too quickly. I'm going to add some black pepper, nice big pinch, and a pinch of salt. Pop my olive oil out of the way. Then I'm going to grab a lemon, give it a bit of a roll, just get the juices going. And then we're just going to squeeze some lemon juice into that mixture. And you can play around with the recipe, it's entirely up to you. I mean, this is kind of quite traditional, but if you wanted to add different herbs to your Baba Ghanoush, it's absolutely fine. If you don't like tahini, leave it out. Some people add a little bit of olive oil. So, just get it right for you. Pour out myself a spatula. I'm just going to blend that together. Okay, so I'm just going to whip over those aubergine on my barbecue. So you're beginning to get a nice charred skin, and we're gonna flip those over, that one over. I heard a little bit of a pop earlier, and that was it. The skin was kind of popping open. That's absolutely fine. So I'm also going to turn my garlic over as well. And in fact, you can already smell the garlic, it's coming off, which is great. And as I said, for me, I love all of that flavour. So I want to keep it all in. And I like mine chunky, so I don't like it too over textured. But if you do want it like that, then I would suggest just taking a hand blender and giving it a good going over with that until it's nice and smooth. So we have our tahini, lemon, etc. in there. I'm going to pop in my chopped aubergine. I'm going to mix that all together. And I'm going to add a nice good bunch of parsley, which I'm just going to roughly chop. Cut, get myself an edge. And again, you know, mix it up if you want, different herbs, anything soft, chives, coriander, oregano, entirely up to you. In that goes. Right, got a bit of a tahini spoon, but that will be enough for me to taste it. A bit more salt. And then we can serve it with some flatbread. This is a brave recipe, open fire flatbread. I've used some yeast in mine today, but if you don't want to use yeast, that's absolutely fine. It makes them just a little less fluffy. The idea is to cook them directly onto the barbecue, onto the grill. But if you're feeling a little hesitant, you could start by, if you've got an old frying pan, just cook them in the frying pan in case you're worried about them sort of falling through. So it's entirely up to you how you want to go. You can make them in advance, they can be frozen, and then you could just reheat them on the barbecue. So maybe a bit of theatre if you like. So that's definitely a safer option if you want to do that. Here's a few I've made earlier. I tend to go kind of irregular. So flatbreads are a really, really nice way of doing something simple that you can succeed at very easily. So here we go, 500 grams of all-purpose, it's spelt flour I use. Into that I've added some dried yeast, a sachet of dried yeast. They're normally about 7 grams, I think, nice and easy. They really are that simple these days, nothing else you need to add. I'm gonna add in a pinch of salt. And then I'm going to add in start with about 200 ml of warm water. Now, dough isn't an exact science. So what you want to do is you want a firm dough. If it looks a little dry to start with, I would suggest keep going. So keep mixing it until the flour and water come together. But again, if you've got spare flour, you know, you can always add a little bit more flour, a little bit more water. The idea is that you want to just pull it together. Now you can just do this with your hands. I tend to start it with a spatula and then move to my hands once the dough has come together. So once we've got it coming together nicely, I'm going to pop it out of my bowl onto a board, and we're just going to do a bit of kneading. So you just simply push the bread away with the heels of your hand. This is actually a very satisfying thing to do, especially if you're feeling a little bit tense in the shoulders. Okay, so literally pushing away with the heel of your hand. And what you want to do is you want to keep going until you feel the texture change slightly. And that's the gluten starting to stretch and elongate, working with the water. It just feels more silky, I suppose. So the next stage, because I have got yeast in here, is we need to proof it. And this needs something a bit warm. So really it's about getting that yeast to work. So obviously in the summertime, sometimes it's warm enough to do it outside. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll it like this, pop that into a clean bowl with a tiny bit of olive oil, cover it in a cloth, and then I'm just going to leave it in the sunshine just to proof up nicely. So there we go. And the idea is that it will rise, it will double in size, and then you want to knock it back. So it means you're going to tip it out of the bowl and just give it a quick knead, and then wrap it up again, pop it back in the bowl. And I'd say on average 2 would be good, but it's entirely up to you. So if you wanted to make the dough the day before and to do your flatbreads the day after, then you could leave it in the fridge overnight and it will be absolutely fine. What you want to do is make sure it doesn't kind of get a hard skin on it. So the best way of doing this is just popping a little bit of oil on the surface. And then I would just put some very loose cling film sort of over the top. But as we're making flatbreads, obviously what we're going to do is then just roll them out nice and thinly, coat them in flour to stop them sticking too much. You want them to feel like they're not going to stick to your hand, basically. That's really the key. And I've just split it into little balls and rolled it out. And then we're going to look at a nice hot bit on our thing and we're going to pop them on. Fingers crossed. See what happens. This one, I can feel it's just a bit sticky on the underside, so I'm just going to give it an extra pat. And on it goes. You should see them starting to kind of puff up a little bit, and don't get too worried. It doesn't happen immediately, so just give it a minute or so. If you want to play around with flavours as well, you could add some chopped herbs in there or some roasted garlic, anything you want, just to kind of lift them a little. And it's quite nice, you know, when somebody says, have you made them yourself? You can say, yes, I did. So you'll see that they just get, you know, a little bit of puff on them. And I find that smaller is better. And there you go, nice and soft, nice and warm, and obviously not very perfect, so they look homemade.